Hold on.
Whoa.
Okie dokie. Guess we're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:01.
Okay, Chair Benson. Vice Chair Graham,
Here.
Commissioner Bozo,
Here.
Commissioner Davis,
Here.
and Commissioner Ramirez.
Here.
And I'm going to have the flags. If I could go. Everyone stand, please, at the meeting. Ready to begin? I have pledged allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God.
Next item on the agenda is the secretary's report.
Yes, the agenda and meeting packet was published on April 11th, 2024.
And item 5 on the agenda is the approval of minutes, item 5.1 for the March 19th, 2024 meeting.
Move we accept the minutes. Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes for the March 19th? Aye. Any opposed? And okay, item 6, approval of the agenda for tonight's April 16th, 2024. Pleasure.
Can I just make a
Yes.
quick comment? So our second presenter is not here yet. And if she comes past when her item is, would you be willing to incorporate it back into the agenda?
What do we have in public?
Oh, forget it.
Very loud.
Okay, never mind. Yes,
Moot point now.
yes.
All right. So it looks like all in favor of approval of the agenda as presented this evening? Aye.
Oh, wait, who motioned? Sorry.
And then docs.
Okay, so it's the same.
I'll never fail. I'll point that down.
Thank you.
And I'll approve it. Yeah. So item number 7. Item 7.1, Joy News updates Michelle Webster, program manager, County of Santa Clara Public Health Department, former Park and Recreation Commission.
Good to see you all. This is, I'm not sure about the setup, but I'll do the best I can.
Okay,
So, about a year and a half.
probably gonna need this.
Oh, here, do I need to speak in here? Well, you all make it really awkward. I have to look this way, that way.
Yeah, it's kind of like we don't sit in big chairs anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to provide some
No.
updates on our district,
Push a button.
campaign. We basically about the public health department about a year and a half ago, we
Well, I guess
received a $2.5 million grant from the inactive transportation grant that we actually manage. And I'm just going to go through some of the highlights of the grant. So we basically just recently, probably one of the most exciting things that's recently happened that hopefully some of you have seen is we just recently launched the Gilroy Moves Safely campaign. And the campaign basically, I should say, all the photos and the video and everything was actually taken in Gilroy with people who are from Gilroy. So very place-based, really specific. We get a lot of really great feedback from the community in the development of the campaign. So we did a lot of engagement with the community and the messaging and what they wanted to see. And so some of the key campaign messages are make Gilroy streets safer for all, sharing the road, and stay focused and alert, and walking, biking, and taking transit is fun, healthy, and good for all Gilroy residents. So the campaign basically includes bus ads, bus shelters. I know some of the bus shelters are now up. Online ads, lots of social media posts, which actually even this morning we had a video that was posted. I should say there were 6 videos in the campaign with both in English and Spanish. We had posters and messaging at gas stations and laundromats, local radio streaming, again, both in English and Spanish. So when people click on the messages, they take them to actually a homepage, which basically has a lot of tips for safe walking and driving. So we, again, we received a lot of good feedback on the campaign so far. And then we've also developed educational materials for people. And again, the educational materials are geared to being a safe driver, as well as safe walking and safe biking. So tonight I actually provided you with a pledge card. One of the things we're doing for the campaign is asking for people to put a pledge related to their behavior. So we love it if people are interested in signing the pledge card. You can take a picture of you with your pledge card signed as a commission would be really great. We'd love to give you that added extra in terms of supporting our campaign. So if you're interested in looking at that and signing that, that would be great. As I mentioned, the campaign, we did a lot of community engagement. So the messaging, our staff were in a lot of different health and safety fairs, getting feedback, as well as just having dialogue with people about safety related to biking and walking and transit. These are some of the partners who are involved. So the city of Gilroy, we're thankful, has been a huge partner in this. So we're really glad, lots of great collaboration with the city. You see all the partners that are listed there. The Gilroy Library, you're here this evening. We appreciate your support, so thank you for that. The Senior Center, in fact, several of the seniors from the Senior Center are actually featured in the campaign. So that's been fun. I should also add Ermelindo Fuentes, who used to be a commissioner. He was kind enough to come up for a photo shoot on his bike at the 11th hour, and it was a great sport. He was with us, I think, for like an entire day for photos. And the way that he has been involved, the Gilroy Historical Society has been very involved in really wanting to see people walking and the biking, and we're doing some walking loop cards around some of the historical resources in Gilroy and Village Transit. These are not all partners. There's been a lot of people who've been engaged in this campaign. So again, the benefits of the campaign, really enhancing walking and biking and driver friendliness, heightened awareness, increasing attention, boosting our partnerships, and then improving overall safety. I should say that this funding basically was awarded to us based on crash data in East Gilroy, as well as the downtown area, where there are a significant number of crashes that have occurred. And so we're really looking at crash data is one of the focus in certain parts of Gilroy. This is the part that I want everyone to tune into, how you can get involved, okay? So I mentioned signing a Gilroy News Safely campaign pledge card. We'd love again for you to sign that pledge card. Those pledge cards are in English and Spanish. I do have extras. I'm happy to leave them if you know others who might be interested in signing them and maybe taking their photo with their signed pledge card. Participating in the Bay Area Bike Challenge and Bike to Wherever Days. I know this commission's been very active in Bike to Wherever Days in the past, and so May is when all these Bike to Wherever Days happen, but participating in that and promoting safe biking is a great thing to do. We also have a bike decorating contest, so we're looking to support and getting the word out to Gilroy schools. In the past, we had Gilroy schools win this contest. It's a countywide contest, and we provide all the, all the stuff for people to decorate bike racks, and we've got some really creative bike racks. And so the flyers, cast out flyers, but if you can help us get the word out, that would be super helpful. Following us on social media to learn more about general traffic safety tips and videos. Again, our campaign has 6 videos in English and Spanish. They're really fun to watch. The communities enjoy watching them and seeing familiar faces in them. I think sharing information about the Gilroy Safely vision with family, friends, and your community. Soon we'll have our loop cards, which basically is kind of, if you've ever seen like cards that have kind of highlight historical resources. And so they're gonna be cards that are both online and hard copy cards that people can carry, and they can go on little walks around Gilroy, and the Historical Society is working on this with us, and so they can see the historical background of some of the really unique homes and buildings in Gilroy. So those will be available in the summer. Again, the cards will be in English and Spanish. And then this is a big one, helping the Gilroy High School and pedestrian counts. So we, every year, as part of our grant, we do bike and ped counts in May, and this year it's May 14th and May 18th. So we have people out in 10 different locations, and we're really just counting the number of people who are biking, walking, bikers wearing helmets, and we're just tracking some other things. It's amazing in just 2 hours how many people you count. Again, looking for volunteer support. We generally pair people up, so you'd be with someone else. Kat's worked on this in the past, so we're thankful for her support. We are looking for people. The Tuesday mornings, an early morning shift on Tuesday, and then what we're really looking for is help with a 3:30 to 6:30 shift on May 14th. That one's a little harder for us to fill. A lot of people have kid pickup, but if you don't have kid pickup or you don't have something going on, I'm really kind of like looking for more support with helping us out. Again, it's only a couple hours. The public health department does a quick training with you, pairs you up, and then you go out and count folks. So if there's folks who are interested, let me know. And then participating in our Gilroy walking group. So we're soon going to be starting a walking group in Gilroy. This has been something the community has asked for. Again, it'll be a very informal walking group with a meeting place perhaps at the library. People will walk together for about 45 minutes or so, and then return back to the library. Of course, practicing like safe walking along the way. We're also looking to get a physician from the community to also support that walk and provide some good health tips and information for people. So those are some of the things we get involved in. And so that's basically it. So again, we appreciate your support, and if you're interested in any materials from our campaign, we're happy to provide those. Just let us know. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Do you have any crash statistics post the educational campaigns, or are you just starting, just kicking it off right
Do we have any what?
now? Crash statistics post,
No, so we don't have any data yet, data about the campaign. So we'll be able to actually measure how many people made it to the webpage. We'll be able to find out how many people clicked on certain things and took the pledge. So we will have data after the campaign, but the campaign actually just launched about a week and a half ago. And then it'll go until the end of May. We may get lucky and actually be able to have some of the bus tails and some of the shelter posted, or might be posted a little bit longer. If no one rents the space, then they just leave it up there a little longer. So sometimes we get lucky.
I think you were asking maybe about crash.
yeah.
Oh, the crash data. So yeah, we can actually share the crash data. That's public knowledge. So we generally look at how many people are killed or seriously injured. I will say that when you look at the data, there's always a delay, right? Because by the time all the data is compiled, what we're looking at now is based on what happened 2 years ago. This is all traffic data is a little bit delayed, but I'm happy to share that.
Thank you. That would be, I'd be interested in that.
Yeah.
And the funding, is the funding done, or is there?
No, so the funding actually ends in December. So we have until December of 2024. We're right now in the process of looking for an extension from the state. A no-cost extension to because we had it took some time to ramp up. We were still coming out of the pandemic, so we're also looking for additional funding sources to continue to work and do this work in Gilroy. I should say, in addition to promoting safe routes to community hubs, we're continuing to promote safe routes to school as well.
That's my question. How are you getting that information into the schools? Or are you able to?
So the schools of focus for this grant are South Valley Middle School and Elliott. And South Valley Middle School, we've been in close contact with the principal. In fact, we're engaging the students and the school community in a small outreach event on April 26th, where the students will be able to make smoothies. We have a bike blender, so they'll be able to make some smoothies. We'll get some good tips on education, encouragement, that kind of thing. And then we'll have a bike fix-it person there to help students or people who want their bikes fixed. That seems to be a huge need in Gilroy. I constantly hear that. people just, it's expensive to repair your bike and, you know, it's super important and not everyone, you know, knows how to use like the fix-it tools at the library, which are great, which I know we've also done trainings on how to use those tools and the library's been a great partner with that as well. And I know the library's also going to be having a fix event soon because I just signed a contract to make sure that the fix person can make it to both events.
You know, if you could get that out, I ride my bike a lot and I have someone that will, I don't have one, you know. He has to pump my tires, he's got whatever inside his garage. But yeah, and then Sunshine Bicycles is closed down, but the bicycles, only bicycle shop. So we don't have any place to take a bike to repair it. I mean, you have to know somebody that can help. So interesting to see if we can find any resources.
Yeah, we are finding resources.
Okay.
And so we are able to use some of our grant money to actually pay for the fix-it repairs at the different sites. And of course, the libraries, as I said, has been a great partner. They've had a number of events as well.
I believe the last one we had was specifically, we did the one that was in Spanish and very popular. And I believe the last one we did that was, you know, just for everybody in English, I think we had 50 bikes repaired.
In
or
the
maybe
morning.
75, it was around that range.
How was it put out there? How was the city,
Well-
where did the information come from? How did you?
I- You know, I don't know, we basically try to cross promote if we work closely with the library, we know that we try to get it with social media, we try and get it throughout, you know, key community hubs in ways that we can communicate, but if you have suggestions or ideas and you're feeling like you're not getting that information and there's things, places you think we should be promoting, we'd love to hear about that.
Well, I think what might interest, our group is the site where we can sign up for information or the website to go to. I get it because I was participating the year before. And so I even got, questions on the door to safely, you like this one or this one. So I knew where Melinda was in it. Not everybody,
Yeah,
I did that.
yeah.
So I get the information, but not everybody does.
Is it helpful to send we can send the commission more information and more links to the videos?
That'd be great.
Adam's already found for us, so you can see Melinda, in here, who's basically, he's not always, there he is, he's on the bike.
So, and he's a big walker. That's
And
fine.
he, actually, we had him crossing this poor guy, he had to walk across the street a million times, and then I was in my car and I was like, oh my gosh, he was a wave to me. Photo shoot was interesting, so yeah, so, he's in there, and some other local folks, there's some folks from the senior center.
Yeah.
So you can click on all these and they basically have, so this is where if you are looking at the campaign, this is where the campaign takes you to this page, and it's about, Is that, anything else? I'm gonna be following up with some of you to see who can help with our bike counts. We really do need support with that, and we really appreciate whoever can get out there and help us with that data.
Do you want to leave for some with the senior center?
I can leave a whole pile of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
If you wanna take a picture of us at, I don't know when, but the garden clubs or.
Yeah, how can you get in touch with us? What do we need to give you? Is it, you know,
I can
You take a picture of them all, or I don't wanna
yeah,
disturb the whole meeting.
or why don't we do this? I'll take it after the end of the meeting.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Michelle, I would help you. I'm having surgery. I have to be able to walk wherever I'm gonna take.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm not
Or
trying to
driving.
guilt you, I'm not trying to guilt you there, Pat, I was just trying to make
No, no,
sure.
I would love to do it. I'll be home. But I just be able to walk to wherever,
Okay.
which is
Yeah,
what
do
you want
that.
to do anyway.
We'll take
Right.
you, we'll take
and
you.
we'll
Okay.
get- yeah, and then we'll do it, okay.
Is there anyone else who might be interested in the bike counts? I'm just curious. Any other takers on that one?
Michelle, I'll follow up with you because
What'd you say?
I said I'll follow up with you because I don't know if there's a requirement, but our team group that meets, they like to do local projects, so maybe a count after school, they can just go somewhere near the school and do counts if you have a site, but I'm just throwing it out
Okay,
there.
no,
but-
we can,
Yeah,
we
these
can
were
just
earlier
follow up
this
on
morning.
that and see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we stood over by San Ysidro, and just counted people coming by. That's when you put something together,
I'm sorry, what?
We were at San
We were
Ysidro
at San-
across the street.
counting people.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
I know, it's amazing how many people are walking and biking and
Yeah.
scooters and everything else, exactly. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, and thank you for inviting me this evening.
Thank you.
Let's pass this up.
Yeah, that's how I'll take care of it.
Okay.
By the way, I'm not feeling well today, so I'm keeping my distance.
No problem.
If you ever need the collisions data, you can download it from Crossroads, which is based on Swifters as well.
That's the same data that we actually have as well.
Resources. I'd like to see what it's
That's what they were interested in that data. Wow.
Okay, so item 7.2, the story law by Cassandra Long.
Well, over there, again, Michelle is a wonderful partner. It's nice to, you know, put a name and a face together.
Wait, because I've never met?
No.
Oh, my.
We never met in person, only on Zoom.
And I've been remiss, I haven't joined you at this commission meeting previously, so thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to kind of speak on this topic. It's been wonderful working with Adam in our library commission, so to be able to bring the two together, to partner, collaborate. It's one of my personal and also our our library location goals to really work well and work more together with our city liaisons, our city resources. And this may just be kind of a really great opportunity to get that started and to just kind of connect more. So a story walk initiative, this is something that Jennifer Weeks, our community or our county librarian, has really tried to create some movement around. We're trying to get these in the communities for all of our county libraries. And so is anybody familiar with the story walk? Have you seen one? So basically, they're these really wonderful tiles, and they're kind of on these stands, and it is a story that you ostensibly walk through. So each page has a durable stand, and they focus on different tips and kind of literacy, just so our families can experience more of the library where they are. And we really want to do this to promote not only our city's wonderful parks and resources, but also just a kind of reminder that literacy is for everyone. And it can be everywhere. So I will just, there we go. So this is kind of our strategic plan. These are our priorities, and we feel like these story walks are kind of a way that we can innovate, welcome new people to the library, inspire our communities to reach for literacy wherever it is, to continue to have those conversations in their own homes about how literacy is important, and kind of to also listen to our community and base the material on what they feel is important and what they'd like to see. So again, this is kind of our strategic plan that was approved. It's a 5-year plan. And again, it's the welcome, listening, inspired and innovative. This is a strategic. So this is what we're trying to accomplish here. I'm tripping over my words, which is very silly because I'm a librarian. It should be second nature. We really want to make these concise and also very accessible, and it's something that I think aligns a lot with what the city's goals are as well. So what is a story walk? Story walk pairs reading with an outdoor activity to promote literacy, movement, exercise, and family engagement. Again, we are really working with the power of play and the importance of play in our communities. And we really want to highlight and showcase our wonderful walkable spaces, Michelle, right? So again, bringing it full circle, we all know that Parks and Rec are integral to the health of our communities. So again, this is a way to kind of partner both those things, literacy and community play. So the story walk takes pages from a children's book and attaches them to signs, which are installed along an outdoor path. So why a story walk? So again, we really want to continue to build partnerships. We are very lucky here in Gilroy to have such a community-driven focus. Everyone really wants what's best for our communities to happen, and so collaboration is, pretty easy. we all have the same goals kind of in mind. So being able to tap into those resources and work together on them is so important. And we're really lucky to have such a good working relationship with our different departments here. We want to promote physical activity, promoting early literacy and language acquisition. We know and we understand that early literacy is really, there are very clear indicators and benchmarks for how early literacy impacts long-term goals. By third grade, you know, there are study after study of reading at grade level at third grade determines so much in terms of academic success in the future. There is a direct correlation between high school graduation rates and third grade literacy. So we really want to have an impact as early as possible. We want to encourage families to engage in literacy and exercise together. Both those things are not mutually exclusive, right? So these are all activities that we can encourage families to do together. We understand that family members play a vital role in helping children develop a joy of learning. So we want to be able to provide opportunities to make memories, share values and tradition. And then lastly, it's an opportunity for children to learn new words, describe things and events, and learn how to follow a story literally in sequence. There are so few hours in the day. I think studies have shown that like we have what, between 4 and 6 hours with our families now. It's such a short window, and between dinner and bath time and getting things ready and going to practice, how can we make those memories happen? And this is such a lovely way to do it. You engage with your parks, you have a core memory about walking with your family and reading a story together. And also, you know, for a lot of parents, by the end of the day, or caregivers, by the end of the day, it's hard to think about what's the activity. How am I going to create an activity for my family to do, say, after dinner, right? So this is a really easy way to kind of have an activity ready to go and that families can do together, kind of engage in this process with one another. Yeah, so these are some temporary installations that were at Campbell and Cupertino, and I believe this is the one in Santos. And so our future plans is to install a permanent story walk and signage. This would be funded by our library district foundation. So there is no cost for materials or hardware or setup. There is also no cost to the city for the actual materials. We're planning on changing them. I believe we're looking at not every month, but at least every other, possibly quarterly. We really want to make sure that we have bilingual options available. So the role of us would be to collaborate with installation, with your public works and Parks and Rec, and we would also be responsible for the maintenance of the signage and the regular rotation. I'm sorry, it's 3 times a year. So the city, what we're asking for and kind of your help in supporting would be providing a public space for installation and collaborative installation with the library district. So, you know, we would have to probably, you know, work with public works on how do you want these things installed? You know, what would be the best places? What would be the best materials to use? So it's one of those kind of high reward, or, you know, kind of high return on investment opportunities that I think we can really make happen with your support. Pretty much it. So it's an aluminum post, it's angled, you know, this is kind of more technical information about the post. You know, there's stuff about drilling concrete and things like that. They have warranties on them and would be, you know, checking them regularly to make sure that things are maintained. If something has damage, we'll update those. And we've built that into our cost analysis. Yeah, so just some potential stories. They're really wonderful, colorful, and good for all ages. So again, ideal locations, a city park or a city area with high visitation of your young families. Starts kind of at a main place or main lot, and ideally will lead to and pass by hopefully a playground. 17 frames is usually kind of what we think people are, can ostensibly walk. And it should be about a third to half a mile long, so 100 feet between each side. But this can be adjusted. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. We really appreciate your support on this. I've spoken with the Library Commission and they're really excited about this opportunity to partner. So we wanted to bring it to your commission now. Adam recommended that as well because you all know your parks and areas so well. If there's any feedback we can get from you all on where you think this would be extremely successful, necessary, needed, I'd love your feedback and next steps on how we can push this forward to possibly city council or, kind of get those kind of approvals in place. So thank you for your time. And then also, discussion. What do you think? Is there any place you're really interested in seeing this at? Is there any kind of feedback you'd like me to take back to our leadership just to, kind of, if you have any questions or concerns about the program? What do you think?
So a couple of questions first.
Yeah.
Does it move in the past? Does it move from park to park or is it stationary in that particular space all the time? Or
So we're looking to create something permanent. Yeah, so, we're
Except the
thinking,
screen could change, right? The placement, story.
yeah,
the location
Every 4
stays-
months.
right, and if it's extremely successful, it's something that hopefully we can duplicate in other parks and other areas. If that becomes something you're interested in or a project we're willing to partner on, that's also a possibility.
Is there enough money for 2 locations or does it have to be 1 location?
So right now, I believe we have earmarked for 1 location, but again, if this is something that the city and Parks and Rec would like to partner on, I believe, we can always look into additional funding sources to provide
Looking
more.
forward, I'm kind of looking forward because you've got 2 sections of town, right?
Right,
One's more bilingual than the other. It'd be nice to be able to cater, to be able to do both.
sure.
If not, if you put it one on one side of town, it's gonna be hard access for the people on the other side of town. So
Right.
that's, I think, I'm trying to get my head around how we could make that work.
Yeah,
That's good feedback.
I had a conversation with Adam, right after we had that change. Leadership. Over this on the plans. I'm really excited about it. I realized, east side, west side, and I'm kind of thinking Christmas Hill was the central area. And especially looking at the pictures from, walking through the little area that comes from the middle of the park. I think that would kind of perfect. Then at one time I thought, oh, maybe on the ranch side, but I think that's something different. I like that. Christmas Hill side.
I have a question on age. Who would benefit from that or who might seek that out for what age are you targeting in terms of the stories that you offer?
So we understand that Gilroy is multi-generational families. So I believe, since it is an activity, I think you can kind of extend the range. So maybe the material will probably be for early learners, early literacy, probably pre-readers or early readers. But since we know that Gilroy is multi-generational, we're trying to make the activity on there fun for also their children or something that they can share with their siblings, even on walks, caregivers. So just kind of, and tell us a story, right? And, there's a red balloon. Tell us the last time you saw a red balloon, right? And so grandma can tell that story, caregiver, older brother, older sister. So really kind of making it open-ended. So, it's accessible and interesting to the entire family.
So my concern with Christmas Hill Park is if we're looking at our demographics, we need to have access to park that has to be walkability. So wherever those signs go, up, they have to be engaging, of course, but there for the kids that really need it, because we know what our community looks like, and there's kids that need it a lot, kids that don't, but everybody probably will enjoy just the newness of it and the idea of it is so wonderful. So, yeah, I'd really like to talk that location.
And, you know, every child can benefit with an amazing interaction with a family member. You know, every child can benefit from even, you know, bilingual materials, right? We live in a place where bilingual skills are so important. So I think it's something that, every community can benefit from, and, you know, it's just great to have a walking conversation with, you know, your family, and, you know, hey, remember going to the park, and there's gonna be a new story in, next week, let's go check it out.
So are any of these verbal, like, is there an audio component that can be built into something like for people that are not literate or can't read? You say that you're bilingual, but not necessarily can you read Spanish, you can speak it, or just like, you know, English, so I'm just thinking auditorily.
So we don't have like a speaker attached
Yeah,
or
that's what I'm
anything.
thinking, okay.
But we do have the stories that we have are wonderful pictures. So even if maybe,
Okay.
you know, the language component is, the written language component would be something more challenging or outside of somebody's personal wheelhouse, they're still really fun. You can follow the story, without necessarily having to read all the words.
Okay.
So I think that's, you know, we try to be really thoughtful about, like, and again, right, if you're on a walk, you're not reading War and Peace, so it's a really, you know, like, it's a really two things.
Read the text, which is really important as a teacher, of course, that's how I think about it, so some way that they can hear and then look at the words.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like I foresee like a little generation, oh, mommy and the ones are going through the park and, you know, maybe you got some food and all that, and then, you know, and then the next year, they're a little older and they're like, oh, remember this, and then grandma takes them and all that. So yeah, and are these stories going to be from actual books? How perfect, is that way if we want to get a book, good home, or
The library.
yeah, so I think that's really great. And Christmas Hill is a destination park
Yeah.
for a lot of people, so, I mean, all ethnicities got gathered.
I like the central location.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's pretty much a driving to park for the Eastsiders, but they come here. Absolutely, play baseball, they're, you know, soccer, they're all generations, I mean, all ethnicities are in Christmas Hill.
So Levy's another option.
That's what I was thinking initially.
The
was
Levy or the
levy.
park, if the park has the playground, it just has.
Well, it has bathrooms, Christmas Hill, so I think that's another.
How long is something like this, expected, what's the life expectancy of these podiums or these things?
So I believe the warranty is 3 years.
And that's in the sun,
Yes.
rain,
Mhm.
okay.
So that's kind of like the warranty. I know lots of places look at replacing at around 5-ish, but, you know, it just kind of depends on how.
Located.
Yeah, and, you know, sometimes there's a rogue golf cart and you have to replace more often. It just kind of depends, right, on where they're placed and things like that, but the warranty is for 3 years for the actual stand, and we have purchased, we've kind of built in kind of extra kind of replacement ones, just because we understand, you know, we're gonna have.
I know John had a question. He's our park
I
supervisor.
think you just answered. I was just curious on the commitment. But I think you just answered it for, maintenance and repair. So after the 3 years, is the program indefinite or is it?
We'd like it to continue.
Yeah.
We'd like it to, you know, be something that is part of the destination of going to the park. You know that you're gonna see a story walk and, you know, hopefully there's room for expansion, and things like that. So we'd like it to be an existing, like, moving forward partnership that we always have, just to, again, create that connection between outdoor activity and literacy, fun and play and literacy. So I think we'd like to continue.
Let's see, wondering about the same thing. So you would be responsible for the replacements at 3 to 5 years, and you said that you would maintain that?
I believe that's the plan. I'm not sure if there's specifically like every 5 years to replace every single one. I don't think that plan is set. in
Yeah.
stone.
Yeah,
But I believe that maintenance would be, our responsibility, but we, of course, we partner with Public Works to make sure, we're put the concrete in correctly and, doing things to your standard specifications, but, it wouldn't necessarily be on you all too.
Well, you would keep in touch with the commission, so let's say you have a funding shortfall, and you don't get, then obviously, hey, you let us know, say, maybe there's groups out there that will support us, recreations, or, so, yeah, I mean, it could be ongoing, just from other sources,
Absolutely,
or maybe expandable with other sources.
yes.
What is the cost of one story wall?
I believe, I don't have that number exactly with me. I believe it's under $5,000.
Under $5,000?
Yes, I believe it's closer to 3, but I can give you the exact number.
Wow, that's.
But right now, we're eligible for this one story.
Yes.
Is that correct?
The funds in.
And we don't pay for it. You do.
Tax.
Somebody pays for it.
hey Cassandra, on your presentation, it mentioned that there's one in Morgan Hill, and I was thinking the commission could go visit it
Yes.
just to see what one would look like. Do you know where in Morgan Hill it is?
So the Morgan Hill one, they are currently, so I believe it's Morgan Hill and I believe it's Saratoga are going to be the first ones who have the permanent ones.
Okay, so it hasn't been
Like-
installed yet.
Yes, so they had temporary ones that were basically on, those, little poles you put out for, when you do high school graduation announcements, those little
A
metal
stake? Yeah,
stakes.
yeah.
So they had temporary ones that they would do that way, but Morgan Hill and I believe Saratoga are going to be our first libraries that get permanent ones, in place. So as soon as those are in place, I can let you know and like take a look.
What about vandalism?
We know that that's a possibility, and that's why we've already ordered, extra kind of.
And this warranty deal. Just thinking, they're standing alone all by themselves in the
Yeah.
park, and so only one person around. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Location, and then hopefully.
Yeah, exactly, right, and we'll do the best, we can, maybe again, work with, Parks and Rec and works on, we'll communicate well on seeing what we need to do,
Well, thank you very much.
Sounds very cool. Thank you.
Thank you, it was lovely to meet you all, and, please, see I'm at the library all the time, so please, join us as well, it's wonderful to meet you all, and I really look forward to partnering more, we've had such a great relationship with the Parks and Rec team, we do so much programming with them, and we really appreciate the opportunities. They're always just on this cusp of so much growth, there's so much change, so, I think it will really benefit us, both groups, to partner more, so we're really looking forward to those things. So, thank you, please let me know if you have any more questions, or any other ideas for places, and we'd love to kind of keep the conversation moving forward.
So do you, when will you need, something from us recommending, or probably have to go to council, right now?
Yeah,
recommend
I think we can talk a little bit more about that during the work plan, because it is on your work plan.
And I have a question, just contacting you is just directly walking into the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's always there.
Don't see me anytime. This Saturday is gonna be a really fun day, so. Yeah, it's
Very busy.
yes, it's Dia de los Niños, so we're gonna have a luchador story time.
Oh,
There
cool.
will be joining us, we're gonna have a wrestling demonstration, we're gonna have a Hall Gentleman. So there's gonna be a lot.
All right.
We have our poet laureate coming, we have, a Latin jazz, ensemble coming.
It's
The
Saturday.
20th, yeah. So,
Well, I know the Red Barns have plan sale.
Yes,
having
take
the-
your bike and just.
yeah,
Figure it
come
out.
on, cruise on by. So again, thank you again for your time. It's really nice to speak to you all and, I'll see you at the library.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Thank you both.
Yes.
Pick 'em and
Yes.
so leave 'em all there.
Okay, thank you. I'll get you that picture.
All right, so, item 8, is an agenda, public comment on items not on the agenda.
None.
Okay. Item 9, new business,
None.
and let's take that. 10, item 10, old business, and item 10.1, the potential pickleball court location scoring criteria discussion. And staff report on the.
So in your packets, the print that report, I come hearing. Mathematics work.
All right.
But everybody likes on it. It's like Tuesday night. I'll have copies for you as well. So this is the staff report. This is an example of the model that we're gonna be using. Well,
What you say?
So this is, this is an example, at the bottom, the top is basically the summary sheet that, this is the summary sheet that, I've been using, taking your scores that you give them. To kind of tabulate what the score is for each part. And so the concept here is that, you know, so we're along the top of the table of different categories. So one of the items we'd ask that, as we discussed in the last meeting, we had listed some categories and then we asked the commission, any others we had thought of, we not need this meeting, let us know. And also start identifying your percentage scores, what percentage you want to apply from categories. And so this is basically the weight column under each of those criteria is where that percentage is. Now I want 5% of my score. I think lighting is 5% of, you know, of what the score should be for you individually or whatnot. So below on the bottom is an example. So you should put a generic 5 commissioners. You kind of see how it will look. With the percentage weighting and score, and then the far right, it will basically tabulate what that score is. So each site will have basically one of these sheets. You will not have to fill out this complex sheet. We're going to do something smaller that's just, it's going to be one sheet for each site, which again, we select the sites the next meeting. And just basically, a few months we go and just score out that particular site.
Oh, okay.
And so, but I would take the percentages and put them all into this model, so it'll kind of drive the calculation arrangement.
It should, I was reading it and I'm going, okay, well, what do I think? So this really helps just as visual to see how you're working this phone. Could, yeah, yes, thank you for this.
And so, so tonight's meeting, as we mentioned, was the time to get the weighting to find out percentages. And yeah, it's, I don't know, it's always tough. It's a voluntary thing for commissioners. We don't have the time to do it. So I don't know if she's ready to provide the percentage scores or identification criteria, or if you need more time.
I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at that, and everybody got a chance to look at this and, you know.
I mean, I read it, but I think that we almost need to just kind of maybe together, just walk us through one of them so we can get a kind of a taste for, or an
Well,
idea. I mean, I read it twice and now seeing this, I've got it, but I'm still not sure. The weight, the word weighting.
So just to you guys, what I did, I took a look at all the criteria that the city provided to us. And I broke it out into sections. I think the 3 most important, second next most important, and the last important. So that would be my X amount of weights. So some of these I would put 0, and some I would put whatever. If I had 9 I would figure out the percentage between the nine. That's kind of the methodology, right?
Correct.
So I don't, took me a little while just to kind of get through that. I don't know, Patty, we're as a group that commit to that, not now.
That's one thing I would like a walkthrough on, you know,
Sure.
just an example piece so that I know that, you know, what
Yeah, I
I'm
think
doing,
that would be
Yeah.
helpful.
make it work.
So I think actually, we can go through the example lines in here, I think so. Look at Commissioner one, you see the weight, so the weighting is, allows you to identify priorities, so let's say, usually the weighting, everything totals 100%, right? And so you can allocate that 100% to wherever you want to. In Commissioner one, it's even distributed 10% to most categories. And so any score you give them, let's say, so the scoring will be 1 to 10, the one being worst, worst score, 10 being highest, for each of the parks. So let's say you go to Los Alamos Park. And so this commissioner is going through, it said, okay, 10% of my score, 10% of my weight score would be for a space for the courts to fit. 10% for, the lighting, 10% for electricity. And they go through, and say, okay, well, I think 8 out of 10 on space for courts, so it's been 8 down. 5 out of 10 for, okay, the spaces offer a north-south line. They're not perfect, but it kind of works for 5. But order parking, there's almost no parking, so parking score for that. And so, right, then if I score all, usually it's putting percentages to it. You still do it because you may decide to change your weighting after certain scores, right? And so what ends up happening is you tabulate all those across, and so each of those categories, each criteria, you multiply the score given by the percentage weight by. So in this case, where everything's even, everything has the same relative balance, the scores 4.9. Right. Commissioner, let's see here. So Commissioner 3, right in the middle. You notice there's not a lot of percentage allocations to different criteria. They instead identified 35% as park type fitting for pickleball. So this commissioner was then saying, well, I think 35% majority of my scoring, I think weighs towards is the park even the right kind of park that I want pickleball for. 30% for impacts on the neighborhood, I think it's the second most important. 25% impact of the park amenities, and we'll throw 10% for restaurants. Right. And so then their scoring is based on that. And so for that individual commissioner, those scores are going to drive the selection. And so it'll give preference for those scores that have a higher percentage.
So Bryce, what is, like, he doesn't have, that Commissioner 3 here, she does not have anything allocated to space for court, but there's a 6 there.
Correct. So we're still asking for commissioners to score the item, even if you have any points. It won't affect your end total because 0% assigned.
But you still want to.
So we still want to score because it may come to the point where as you kind of start scoring, you might, until the final tabulation is done, you might say, you know what? It's kind of going, I think actually base reports is really important. So I'm going to change to 5% here. That if you have to go back and score everything.
And so everybody knew that this particular part is a 27.5.
Correct, 27.75. So we tabulate all the commissioners, everything's been weighted, that's where this park stands. Let's say in Christmasville Park, let's say Christmasville Park comes in at 29. Well, then in the ranking, Christmasville Park would come for Los Alamos for future pickleball sites. And then again, the commissioners in the future will basically bring back that list to the commission and then see if that's what the commission feels based on the scoring and everything, if that's the list or if there's some change you want to do. We also with the scoring, even on areas that don't have any percentages, to identify, okay, do commissioners feel there's a general feeling that lighting is a good option in this particular part? That's the thing that plays heavily into that consideration. Again, that's nothing that you need to coordinate your percentage of weight, right? For individual. So that's the benefit of this design. So that's the thought. So what will happen is once you identify the percentages and your sheets that you're filling out when you go do the scoring, you don't see the percentages. All you're gonna have is a simple thing with the different criteria and just put the number in. That's what we do as one pen. And then we'll enter that into this bar spreadsheet and show where it kind of comes out.
So I did have a question on the criteria. So you had one of them available space for one or more courts. So I was struggling with that. I'd like to see 4 courts if you could possibly get 4 courts. So space for courts, is that in just my mind only? 4 courts is what I'm after, or 2 courts? Yes, so just in my mind, base, the bigger the space, I'm gonna score higher on it.
Correct. We have another column here, so that's for if the commission has any other criteria you want to add in the go. So we'll take so really I think the main thing is to settle on the criteria itself. If there's other things you want to add in there, we can add it in. So that way I can start producing the scoring sheets for you to
I
provide.
looked at this, the only one I came up with is ease of construction, but I'm not a construction guy. And so I know flat surfaces on there, so that would be level ground, that's my only other one, but I'm not qualified enough to know what ease of construction actually means.
Well, it means a lot of things when you start putting in lighting and electricity and those sort of things.
And don't forget, lighting was not a guarantee that this was gonna happen. That's their want.
So these are just criteria. You may think that, that doesn't necessarily need, lighting, maybe, but it's not a purpose for the park to have lighting and night football. So there may be facilities of great location that doesn't have lighting. So that's where that percentage comes down. If you think there should be lighting, then you gotta have a higher percentage.
And so Bryce, what did you mean by location in the community?
So this would be, again, we were kind of talking about the criteria last session. This would be, is it important for you to have something centrally located for the come to, are you looking for, or are you okay with it, parks more towards one side of the town or the other? So those location considerations, do you want it to be somewhere where there's, are you waiting for like, say, travel tournaments, or are you waiting near, closer to dining and restaurants and entertainment for the weekend? Or are you looking at something that's away from the hustle bustle, for lack of a term, where the community is? And then again, that's the beauty of this is what does it mean to you, and it doesn't have to mean the same thing for the other commissioner, right? So you may think, oh, location of the community, I want to be in the middle of everything. You may score high, and someone else thinks, oh, I want to be, I want to be kind of away from the core of the city, or say away from the core of the city, and you may score high based on that. And the beautiful thing is because it's your criteria to each individual park, it will shape the scoring for that, considering your own personal view of what that category means. You don't have to read exactly what the specifics mean.
Yeah, I have a question. I was thinking about the sports park and relative to the ice hockey. Now, that wasn't in a master plan. It's obviously not in print of where we have the park now, but adjacent to that. So I was just wondering how much maybe available land is going to be out there. And I know we're privy to that. So, I mean, it seems like it's outside the USA for the park itself. I mean, it's in the county. I don't know if we ever eventually brought it in or never.
It still stands outside.
Yeah, that's what they have. So, but doesn't mean we can't do it. But the one good thing is it's in a zone where they're building houses, so it's not just low, but we might have grateful, out there. That might be a good idea. Could have bathrooms, they'll eventually have light. So to me, I was just big picture and all that, because that could get developed, faster and than anything. Yeah. Anyway, I just had that.
And that just address that. So the phase 3 removal of the Surface Lands Act for the process application. I don't remember off the top of my head as far as the relative amount of the remaining available, but it's quite considerable.
Yeah.
So we can come back and focus down as far as information is specifically for
Yeah. I remember I was working for the city. But I know just because of the area it's in, the possible flood zone. But yeah, I just was thinking, or even to the south. Anyway, that's what was kind of like my outlook thinking already.
Came on January, so maybe you all have discussed this for him. But are we,
Not this,
not this, okay,
not the scoring.
so, yeah, so is this not something, I don't remember Adam coming to us in the Public Arts Committee and he facilitated us. Is this something that you could facilitate us in a meeting where we do the weighting and all of that and finish it? Or is it, we're supposed to bring it back to you and then we decide which one has got the percentage, so on, so.
So it's up to the commission. So the thought would be that the original plan was that each commissioner goes and identify, of the in between meetings, would identify the percentage that they got and then come to the meeting with those percentages. And the range of time is you consume a big chunk of your time for the particular meeting if you want to go through each individually. So remember, your percentage don't have to match everybody else's. So you're not negotiating percentage with other commissioners.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other process was, but we can kind of sit down and go through, or we can look at maybe arranging, individual meetings to go through.
I don't know if it's, excuse, go ahead.
Sure, no, that was it.
I wanna say
If they feel that way.
No, I totally feel the way you do. As a teacher, I would run through my students and show them, okay, let's all do one together. And then
Okay.
the people that get it, and we can just charge on. And the people that don't, you're the experts, so you bring over a small cluster of us that don't get it. Cause I'm looking, I mean, I see that, I get the numbers, I just can't figure out how to facilitate, how to plug them in and the meaningful. Because for something like this, if we're gonna use this and it's it's a life or death thing, I wanna make sure that what I'm putting down is what I really believe in.
So one strategy would be that for you to individually rank the most important one. So, okay, I think having refuge in this one, could have one about it, and identify it out, and then determine how you want to distribute your percentages. So think about it as like having 100
Okay,
red dot, have you ever done the red dot? Structure, okay, so basically you each put a dot and the more dots that have a higher point. Think of it as you have 100 dots, and the one you have the highest amount on is the most likely to have, right? And so that's when you, okay, records important, I'm gonna put half my dots in that, it's so important. And then, okay, well, I have another, how it's almost like budget. Budgeting points and your score is gonna be the most important, right, highest. It's a little, it's maybe overwhelming because there's so many categories of criteria. And so it's kind of harder to allocate, like, and figure out how you're going to spread them out. Remember, you don't have to put a percentage of it. So that's it's a little different from normal budgeting.
I think before we talk about putting numbers, we have to assign locations. How many sites? And we have to be.
Yeah,
Well-
well, is there one of these for each site?
There will be.
There will be.
There will be, so you won't be filling out this page, so the percentage you set is for all sites, it's this criteria is.
You take your percentage, you go to park and go plug in the numbers, you take
Yeah.
your criteria, go to the next part.
So when you go to the park, what you would do is say, okay, it'd be the set of the score. You're gonna say, okay, for this park, for space for courts, I think this is a 10. I think there's, like, the sports park might be one. If it's just pure open available land, plenty of room, okay, space for court, that's probably a 10. Best thing you're gonna have. There might be another one, I think there's a small park on the east side that doesn't have anything in there. It might have room for 8 court. maybe.
Winter park, no one.
So that one might get a 1 or a 0. And so you're not readjusting the percentages each time. You do the percentage once. It's when I look at a park, I'm gonna put 30, I think 35% of my total score is going to be based on restrooms or lighting. And that percentage is gonna apply no matter where you go, because that's your value for what makes them be in the spot for a pickleball court. And then when you do your scoring each site for these amenities. And as like in the individual sections. So a 10 for space for courts, if you think the location as a whole doesn't work, but still plenty of land, you still score space for courts.
So what I'm hearing is that means that you're scoring at each park.
Correct.
Or possible locations. You're not gonna go to the parties.
So the site location is the next commission. That's where we're gonna identify the universe of locations to evaluate.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
before we start. Okay.
Before you start scoring,
All
yeah.
right, all right.
That's what I would say, I've gotta have the
So
location.
we gotta have this ready. Ideally by the next meeting. Right, this is allocated.
With the understanding, because I know Sam and I are going, I don't want to skew it. I mean, I think this is important and I want to make sure, I mean, I used to do like a, just a walkthrough on a couple of parks, just make up, like whatever, San Jose Park, how we're gonna, or a real park, as a matter of fact, see what we come up with. So, I don't want to be left alone with this and expect it to be something
If
that's
I-
so skewed
If-
among the others.
If I can, so that's where the individual percentage will range. So even if, the intent of it is that a single commissioner compared to all the other commissioners, yes, it would be. But everybody has that prior percentage, it all balances out, it's all average. The design of this, the complexity of this is to allow, as long as you are consistent in your evaluation, right? Then you're fine. If, when you start comparing, okay, different park features, okay, they have lighting, doesn't have lighting, doesn't have lighting, 3 or 4, has tons of lighting, okay, 7, right? As long as you're kind of consistent in your view approach, it all balances out. Where it would skew the way you're doing it is if all of a sudden you said, well, this has 3 light poles, it has a 3. This one has 3 light poles, it has a 10. That's where it would skew. So as long as you're consistent, like in your value and how you're looking at things and creating them, generally you won't skew those score.
Okay, another question. So if we're looking for results by the next, I think there's a step that we have to go in, and that's where we have to assign 5, 6 pages. And do we do that at this meeting, Adam, or do we have to notice that as a Brown Act?
But you're going individually.
I know, but you're gonna pick the location. It's not willy-nilly. It's like, okay, these are the sites that should be looked at.
So the locations are going to be decided at the next meeting. We're gonna bring a list of all possible sites.
Okay, so,
And the commission as a whole are going to decide, okay, these are the ones we're going to evaluate.
yeah,
And there might be some
Okay.
commissions like, yeah, we have, we agree with the commissions, we don't want this site at all.
right.
And so that one, the percentage you sign ahead of time, so you're saying the percentages, but you're not assigning the scores yet.
Okay.
You've been saying, you just basically, either percentage is the way of ranking priority.
So before I go look at anything, I'm gonna say, okay, this is this. And then I'll see how it applies to every site. That's sort of how we-
Once, yeah, so basically,
Okay.
so
Got
any
that.
percentage here,
Do that.
we'll identify the next meeting, the locations to go evaluate. Then there's a break in the items for a couple of months. That's gives you time to go and look at parks. And all you're gonna do, you're not gonna worry about the percentage. You're just gonna score 1 to 10, lighting these criteria.
Yeah.
For that particular park. And you do that for each park as the commission selects.
Yeah, and then you've got 13 or 12 sets.
Included another one, which is good. I looked and I couldn't figure something else other than, I think you gotta do a good job. of this.
And if it's too many, the commission, we can.
But if it's 1 to 10, 1 to 10, each column?
Yeah, so
Okay,
for
good,
each.
and I thought it was across.
Yeah, no, for each
Okay,
column,
alright.
for each column.
Got it.
And so you'll have a separate sheet, right? So once we identify what marks,
In this part.
then there's gonna be a separate sheet you're gonna have
Yeah,
for each
yeah,
one.
this one.
So you don't have to worry about the big spreadsheet. If you walk down the park makes it, here's what's on the sheet, and you score lighting 1 to 10, or 1 to 10. Each of those categories, and that's it.
That's becoming more clear.
Yeah, it's still clear as mud, but,
Yeah.
but I'll probably call her up and I'll just kind of look and think about it. I get what you're trying to do. I'm just not sure
So.
how I'm gonna do it. And I feel like it's something that really needs to have attention. Agents, I don't want to,
So what we can do is, there's a couple of things, I think the easiest probably for finding would probably be if you want to meet individually or maybe small groups. To do it, obviously avoiding in core member.
Yeah,
But if we want to do that, then we can set that up between now and the next meeting, if that works for schedules. And then we can, I can put it on the agenda, but according through you, and then.
Yeah.
And then whatever, however the commission likes to, according to.
So Bryce, just so everyone is on the same page, so the goal is by the next meeting to have your percentage weights completed. That's it. That's it. Terry, did you hear?
So we're talking about the meetings to talk about this, go ahead.
So the homework assignment, because that's what it is, by the next meeting is to just have the percentage weight completed. That's it. Don't worry about locations. Don't
Yeah.
think about the scores. It's how important is it based on the criteria that Bryce has just discussed. And if you need assistance, you know what, just email me and I'll work with Bryce to set up a meeting either with him or with me.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, because I think it's important,
not
not
like
just
for score, just looking about our waste. That's-
Yeah, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it.
Oh.
I know.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So no, it's, you know, taking it in by, I understand it now, whereas before, I was, you know, but I was thinking like, didn't have to deal with the brown ad, it'd be really cool to have a thing against the wall, like when we would have like retreats and stuff. And like, okay, here's a tent, here's this, and put our little dot on the wall. And you rip it down and then we go to the next one.
So you can actually do that at the hardware meeting. We have that special.
That's actually really
As
fun.
long as it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
And what we could do.
Yeah.
It's always on the agenda.
All right, that's good, because, you know, that's why I was asking you, we do, you know, but yeah, we can take it home and do this part of it,
Yes.
and then,
I think as big an issue as this too. If we're all in the same room, and I know Luis, you just, you know, you caught on to it, but sometimes we hear someone else's take on it or understand it, and you or hopefully you self-reflect, or we listen to the person that's saying that, well, I never looked at it that way. Conversation happens and we mark it, because this is a big deal for us.
And if you want to take a stab at it, try it, and then you want to show it to us, you can take a picture, you can email it, text it, and then we can say, yeah, you're on the right track, or no, slow down.
Yeah.
And that there's a, if I can try to, so that's one of the reasons why the thought was this meeting, so the thought was at a meeting, everybody can report their percentages, have the opportunity. That's also the reason why we're having everybody at each part, even if you don't have any weighting, even if you have 0% in something, you still score it because you might change your mind. And so at least you still evaluate it on the merits of its own and say, you know what, in hindsight, you know, level ground was so important, who knew? And so then you want to change the percentage. We've already scored all the parks, all the locations for level ground already. So if you change the percentage, you don't have to go back out and go, oh man, I gotta reevaluate every park again. We've already done it. And so we can make those adjustments pretty easy.
so we could just put ours right here, and right, this is what we're.
You can put it right here if you want. You can send it to separately. We can meet and go over it together. And that way, it's whatever's easiest for the commission.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it, that's every day, yeah. I mean, you know, and maybe Louise and I are not afraid because we are used to spreadsheets. And I'm used to spreadsheets that go across the state, from what I went to. And so I'm not fearing of this task, it's just now I understand it, but you're not looking at this part, you're looking at this part. You're looking for the left hand, not the right. On each column, and then sometimes the columns are too small, or
You're
like,
looking, wait.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like, do I think lighting is a big deal? Maybe personally, it's no, because I think that's a luxury. So I'm going back for criteria, you know, we talked about in the very beginning, hey, it's because they want this, you know, they gave us their wish list, well, now we have the reality. So that's where your weight comes. What do you do or finish? That's the way I was. If I'm wrong. Anybody else have a comment? Okay, let's see.
Oh, it's worth it. I know this is gonna work out.
Wow.
Thank you, Bryce.
So,
And if anyone needs to, feel like they need a little more, coaching, or help, then put it to Adam and we will make the contact.
Yes.
That's the chain, okay? Don't put Rick in, go in. Okay.
Just come by tomorrow.
Wednesday, we're seeing that, I might be around. Yeah, don't, she is. All right, so we'll move on to item, 10.2. And this is the review of the fiscal year 24, the 25 Parks and Recreation work plan. So Adam, staff report.
Yes, actually, you could just turn to the spreadsheet. All right, so not too many updates since your last meeting. Training opportunities, there's actually a webinar tomorrow. I know Chair Benson, Commissioner Graham are going to be there. It's gonna be at the senior center at 10 o'clock.
And Bill Haley, and I've invited Louise to.
Okay, okay,
Because it's part of from our last meeting where I looked about. the
Yes.
Finance stuff and. we
yes. So,
Reached out today and I said, I want you to come to this.
okay, just do not talk any Parks and Recreation Commission.
Right.
Just listen.
Well, yeah,
Receive.
write it down and then.
Yeah, and then you can bring it up at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Participate in citywide events. It was mentioned earlier by Michelle Wexler. So Bike Tour Everyday is coming up. The commission has hosted the last, I want to say 2 or 3 events. This will be at the same location as it has been in previous years at Christmas Hill Park on the levee, right at the entrance on Miller and Uvis Park Drive. Yes, I'm out there at 6 a.m. I hope to see some of you there by 6:30. I have,
Maybe they can put up a tent.
yes. Yes, so and we could set up shifts as we get closer to it, so you don't have to be out there for the entire time. It basically runs from about 6:30 is when we get our first cyclists to about 11-ish or so, and then we'll close up. It's a lot of fun. We'll have some treats, we'll have some giveaways, and hopefully you can all stop by on your bike, which would be great. If not, you can come in your car. Anyways. All right, so I'll send a follow-up email, and then at the next meeting, we can talk about who and when can come. The story walk, we had talked about that earlier, obviously with Cassandra. So now you have a much clearer idea of what it entails. She had this, sorry. I was gonna say, there was a good breakdown of what everyone's role was, the library's role, the foundation's role, which is kind of under the role. Under the,
No.
Hold that up. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone see that? So the city's role, all the way on the far right, is providing a public space and a collaborative installation. So this is gonna be, I think, something where the commission can start to think about locations. And of course, as the commission is coming up with some ideas, eventually we'll have city staff, park supervisor, engineers, assess the recommended locations to see what would be the best fit, and then come back and let you know if it's a fit.
Can I clarify?
Yeah,
something
please.
For a minute. I think it's a great idea, by the way, and we will be happy to help. with regards to the assessing the locations and making sure that it wouldn't impact accessibility and so forth. But the reason I was asking about the maintenance, our crew are not used to these type of signs and posts. They are not the typical ones that we have supplies from or are used to maintaining. There are similar ones actually in Palo Alto that they have a park on Littlefield Road and they definitely wear and tear. So we want to make sure that they will continue to look good and be attractive.
And just to add to what Heba is saying, one of the things that Cassandra had mentioned to also to keep it fresh, but also I think when these tiles start to wear, is they'll get replaced. They'll get replaced, sounds like every 4 months. Now the question is, who's replacing it? Is it our staff? Is it someone that they hire? And so those are the details the city and the library will have to iron out. You don't have to worry about that. Which your focus would probably be is identifying a recommended location. Ultimately, the city council will have the final say based on your recommendation.
Why don't we make it a quick discussion and come up with a recommendation now? Wait. I mean, I thought just a Christmas park is right on, it's right in the center of town.
And I disagree.
Why is that?
To me, it's not centrally located, but I think that kids are coming over Elliott or, let's see. Nantelli Way.
It's not that it's central.
It's not central. It's a big park. It's a community. It is a community.
So, that's what I was getting at. It serves all ethnicities.
Where would
If you
you,
don't believe me, go look.
Terry, where would you recommend?
I don't know yet. I'm just thinking it's a park you have to drive to, because there's a levee. Sure, if you can hop on the levee, you can get to it. And then where you live up on the other side, there's not any sidewalks there.
I have to walk.
You have to walk or drive to
I
get
would
down to
probably,
it.
I could actually sneak through the hill and come
Right,
across the hill.
but my point is if it's a family and this walking book thing is for younger kids. So now you've got strollers or perhaps some other kinds of paraphernalia you need when you have smaller kids. So how practical is, I love the idea of,
I think it's very, because you have moms in minivans and you got the little kids in the strollers and their car seats.
And
Both
you
sides
know,
can.
yeah, and listen, I did not anticipate that you would have you'd make a decision based on tonight. I think it would be incumbent upon you to go, now that you have the visual, is now go back to those
Drive around.
locations. And by the way, even if you like Christmas Hill Park, it's such a big park. Well, where exactly would you set it up? Remember, it's, what is it? I think the length of it is either 1/3 to a half a mile. So it has to have that length, and obviously some sort of established pathway. So right there is already going to, take out, 1/3 of the parks, that
Well,
aren't
I'm
going to be.
thinking the one that goes, as you come and you're, start to drive it, okay? And then where we used to park everybody, and then you could walk down that middle path to, where the food started and all that. It's already an established pathway, it already has trees shaking, and it's parking there, and, there's picnic grounds there, and people will make time for it, a day for it. And people literally come across town to have picnics in Christmas Hill. I've seen it. I drive these roads every day since I live on the other side, and it's all ethnic.
I'm in agreement with Pat, but I agree, give everybody a chance to go look at
But
different
yes,
parks,
I
couple of
agree too.
recommendation, next month we can have discussion.
Yeah.
Because I don't wanna be holding up. if they're
Yeah,
ready to
and
go.
she had mentioned, I think, the levee too, that's
Yeah,
option.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, the levee is quite long. Well, where
Well,
exactly would be a good,
And then there's-
location?
There's a lot greater chance for, well, I don't want to.
Right.
So listen, so
I'm just thinking of that, nobody's seeing them.
That's a good point. So, okay, so take all these things into consideration. We're not going
Can you
to,
put on the agenda for this?
well, it's going to be part of your work plan. So it's an ongoing item.
Right.
Why don't you think about, what are your top locations, your top 3 locations? Think about reasons why it would work. And then the commission can have a discussion and potentially recommend, maybe it may take a couple meetings to get to that point. And then staff will then need to assess whether or not that location is suitable.
Sure.
So it's probably best that you come up with a few options so staff can kind of weigh the pros and cons and go from there. Okay.
So keep going.
Well, other than that, I mean, you've already talked about the pickleball. You'll be talking about your city park assignment soon. The only one that hasn't been mentioned yet is study opportunities for parks and recreation services to have dedicated funding sources. I don't know if there's an update on that.
There isn't a bit, I talked to Pastor, I put together a quick little one-page summary of what
Thank you.
what I think of these some of the options are for. And then, we can add to it, subtract from it. I'm glad we got city staff here, we can talk about that. But, what we're trying to do is, our goal is to have a memo by the end of the work plan to provide the city council and the city on recommendations on how do we get a permanent social fund people. It's important, we discuss this, it's important to a lot of us on the commission. Why is it important? The parks have been deteriorating little by little, master plans have been updated for years, yada, 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 we discussed that. So it's very important. So here are the sorts I came up with. It's not an exhaustive list. It's just a list that I thought about, and I went through this past discussions. That was the CIP route. We go the CIP route, try to get money for master plans there. That's gonna take some work, right? That's not an easy thing to do, but it's possible. It's gonna take some work to get that funded and so that's one. Sales tax measure. I missed the opportunity to speak in front of council when the sales tax measure came up with public safety. If you recall, I had a conversation with the director of parks over in Watsonville. They had this very issue come up. They already had a public safety fund, sales tax measure. They came up again, and the people, this was during COVID, the people liked the park so much, they can we take some of that public safety fund and put it in parks? And we did. And that's how they have a pretty robust parks and rec program there. In fact, they put a second one in the ballot and it won. So I still think there's an opportunity. I think where it might be a little bit late. It's who knows what's going to happen in November. But if getting on board that, I talked to Jimmy one time and talked about he's estimated it could be $5 million. And maybe we just ask for if there's an overage, that Parks and Rec get X%. I think that's something that could fly. Zach Kilpin mentioned we could probably get behind something like that. So we need to figure out a strategy. I'm not saying we do it now. I just want to throw that out there. That's a possibility. Grant allocations. I know we have a grant writer on staff. They're running for everything, right? So Parks and Rec probably down to bottom of the totem pole. But we need to figure out if there's an avenue there.
Hey, just to clarify, actually, there isn't a dedicated.
Oh, there is.
I mean, the city does contract with a consultant, but there isn't a
There's
in-house.
nobody advocating for Parks and Rec with the consultants that I.
Well, I mean, again, it's all happening internally. When a grant opportunity comes up, then there's a.
I'm not aware of anything that's going on.
Yeah.
We also talked about, wouldn't it be cool to learn a mission or go to class, and we obviously have wherewithal to, investigate something like that, but I have no idea where to start. But I would definitely have interest in that. And then I know that my term is going to be up in December, but it's not something I'm interested in as a citizen, for the foundation, or even inviting in the city. I mean, I live in this community. If I found something, I'll let you know. But if I could get that kind of an education, I'd be great. We
have our monthly meeting with California consultants tomorrow, actually. It doesn't come up, but to be honest, because we haven't been asking about it, if there are relevant grants, I'll raise the question tomorrow so that they can research it. what came up is safe routes to parks, similar to safe routes to
Oh.
roads but because it's road related,
Right.
it's the travel to and from the parks. But I will ask them tomorrow. to
That's great.
research.
That's great, because we do have an interest and, you know, we're just trying the foundation that started. More figuring out where to find money, or we can help the foundation, or, you know, we can keep going on.
I think the more we know, the more questions we can ask that are more pinpointed.
Well, you already know how passionate I feel about the master plan issue. About the breakdown. But it is a passion, and we do need to.
Yeah, and that speaks to developer impact fees. We're not gonna be able to get any unless you have a. master plan.
You can't
You
increase
can't.
it.
That's right, so, and we don't have any coming from, I don't think we have any developer that.
Oh,
Any
yes,
new
we do.
development, do we have some kind of parks only for local, the park that's gonna
It
be built
comes
in the
in the-
community?
How they impact the environment? You
Uh,
can speak to
how
that.
how does that?
And the transportation impact fees actually doesn't cover parks.
Right.
It's, the traffic impact fees are caused by the project impacts on the roadway system, whether upgrades at intersections, roadway segments, whatever it is. It could have sidewalk improvements, whatever their impacts is, bike lanes to and from the development site. But there could be a condition of approval on the development to have a local, to build a local park. If it's a large development area, it could be required of them to build a new park, but they don't take care of the maintenance, once it becomes public.
But there is an impact fee, for
Public facilities.
public facilities,
Yeah.
but that's also tapped by police and fire, is it not?
Anything that's deemed a public facility, so that would
Yeah.
include,
It
yeah.
used to just be parks.
Okay, so
when I
that's,
was working.
thank you for pointing that out. So the public facility impact fees that we get to any come to parks.
It could,
But right now,
it's not, yeah, it's not dedicated, it's not exclusive to parks.
we're not seeing any of it now.
Well, you have to fight for it.
Right, okay, so that's another area, that's an area that's existing for something that exists now that we're getting, and potentially in the future, if we get a mesh.
Well, that's kind of a council.
But I think if this is important to us, we need to somehow advocate this, and we can talk about that later, but I just make it through the sponsorships. If the Sharks could sponsor something like Gilroy Sports Park that we could have besides the arena, maybe they'll sponsor pickleball court. You know, that's an area, for things, right? And then the last one I want you to talk about is foundations, because I know you started one, and that's another area maybe we can approach foundations for public.
Right, well, it's, the foundation of the, Friends of Gilroy Parks and Recreation Foundation. It's still, you know.
We're on the books.
We're on the books, but we need to get a board and learn about fundraising and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, Terry and I are just two, and then we have Bill now, Bill Headley's on that committee. So we want to get going, but it's kind of like, we're only 3 people and we need to kind of let go. And I know we've met with Adam before, but I'm almost right to the point where, okay, I'm feeling confident that we can try doing some board member solicitation, have a meeting and all that. My life's kind of a little crazy, and now I'm feeling like I'm getting into a spot where I can do something again. So, but anyway, so that's our foundation, but there are other foundations. There's the Gilroy Foundation, which is, you know, a lot of ever encompassing for a lot of different people in the city of Gilroy that have put money in there. And all kinds of foundations, in there, many under their umbrella. So, but I think the grant things are gonna be the best.
So here are identified 6 possible areas that you can, so I don't know what the next steps are. My recommendation is for us to look at the viability of each one of these. I'm not ready to talk about that tonight, but sometimes, and then assign responsibility, teams or whatever to pursue the 2 or 3 highest, most likely sources of money.
Well, I appreciate that you're going to talk to your, community grant person or whatever. That would be a good step, to get a report back and see if it's out there.
Heather, you mind if I call you in the next week or 2, and then we can get us a coffee? We can just figure it out. Okay, that'd be good. Okay. All right,
Anything else?
that's it.
So as far as last time, any downtown select set yet, for, it's too early probably.
Oh, the downtown live? They haven't released anything yet, so
Okay.
I'll,
Yeah, because they usually wait till summertime,
yeah.
and now there's only 5 of us now, so. I think we only did it like 3 or 4 times, right?
We usually do about once,
Or
do about
we
once
did-
a summer.
I think we did it twice. I think Terry and I did it one time, and I think so-and-so,
that?
Angela and Carol did it one time, or something like that.
Oh, I mean, in terms of the last few years? Oh, no, I think we've done it at least, I mean, I've said at least 5 or 6 times.
Okay. No, I meant per summer.
Oh, per summer it was typically 1 or 2, yeah. yeah.
And then, I know as far as the, birthday, I'm gonna be going, not representing. Going. Going to the barn thing. Stuff like the library. thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. At the point where we can do the recreation.
Yeah, I'm looking at the time, so I'm gonna try to fly through this here. It's the last 2 pages.
Yep.
So we've had lots of festivities at the senior center. As you can see, one of them, we had an Easter bunny visit. They will be celebrating Cinco de Mayo in what, about 2 or 3 weeks. In fact, some of the seniors are working on some decorations, so there's always something in the works. Feel free to come by. We always are looking for volunteers to help serve, greet, or if you have a skill, you want to, teach it, you're more than welcome to. In terms of our everyday recreation programs as well, we have summer camps that are coming up. Many of them have lots of enrollees. Some of them are getting close to filled, which is great. Actually, yesterday was the first day the swim lessons were open for registration. So as you know, we have a contract provider, Swimming Swan. They opened up registration yesterday for swimming lessons. I think the month of June, almost every lesson is already full. They also have swimming lessons for adults. So if you want to improve your breaststroke or just learn how to swim, they do have classes. They're also going to have aqua aerobics and of course recreation swim. And that will be opening Memorial Day weekend and will run through Labor Day.
Have the slide open.
The slides will be open, yes. Soccer league, if you go to Christmas Hill Park, the ranch site on a Saturday when it's not raining, you will see hundreds of youth playing soccer there. And that's operated through a third-party provider, Audax Soccer. They're doing a good job.
Really quickly.
Yes.
So only because I was over there and John, there was a huge swipe of just mud, like somebody came through on the soccer field on the Red Barn side and just, it's the grass is all torn up.
You're talking immediately to the right when you come into the
Yes.
gates?
Yes,
That's where we had, compost,
oh, is that what, okay.
stored. It's flat now because we
That's
used
fine, it's
it
just
to
muddy, there's no.
plant the
grass.
trees.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was usually just open, weeds. It was more of a bare area. I don't think that has actually irrigation there either.
I don't know, I just looked at it and went, wow, something's gone through here and it's muddy.
That was,
They probably scraped up if they had.
Yeah.
Okay, and just a few more things. We had the Youth Commission, which I also support. They had this event. It was basically like a job fair, but geared toward teenagers. If you go to the other page, they had over 100 participants looking for volunteer opportunities, internships, and paid positions. We had the library there, Gilroy Gardens was there, the Gap from the outlet was there. We were there, everyone was advertising something, and many of them walked away with prospective job applicants. They made good connections, and it was a very successful event.
Put together.
The Youth Commission,
They actually went out.
They
and brought
did.
people in. Okay, that's impressive.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
These are really overachievers and top-notch kids. This weekend, Willy Wonka is opening at Gilroy High School, so tickets are still available. You can get them at the door, you can also get them online. And that's a youth and teen production, but of course, all ages are welcome to attend, and that's at the high school theater. We talked about some of these other events. Fishability, Adaptive Fishability, that's a great event. I'll be there at McAlpine Lake, south of here, over by San Juan Bautista. We of course talked about Bike to Wherever Day, and then the day after that, on Friday, we have the annual Senior Center Health Fair, which actually Michelle, I think, will probably be at Public Health among a dozen other agencies and organizations. So that concludes my report. Any
Before we
questions?
get back
Yes.
to the meeting, if you go out there as commissioner, is there an admission fee for us? Or-
No, it's just for the participants, and I think it's like $8 or $10.
So if we're just gonna go view. and-
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, I'm just gonna stop by, you know, and it's a really nice event. It's put on by Sportsman Chefs.
Yeah.
They get some grants every year to help fund it, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's also a great way to get some exercise. You can walk around the lake.
My nephews. Had me those. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, that is the city park. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So past month, we've been, focusing on weed abatement, especially the areas, to support some of the events. We just had the Terrabella, cycling event at Christmas Hill Park, so we were, making sure the lots are mowed for parking. We're also, focused on getting the ranch site cleaned up for plant sale this weekend, as well as various lots and open fields throughout the park system. We've had a few tree removals, Rainbow Park, Sunrise Park, Ranch Site, and Christmas, Los Animas Park. I think Luis, you might have ran into one of the guys, or maybe it was Doc, for a tree that had fallen.
That was something I got an email
Okay.
from that guy over there by,
Rainbow Park.
it was, no, it was for the open preserve.
Ah,
And they were wanting us to, do something about that, which is why I just emailed you. I wasn't about to engage him on that.
we completed our baseball and softball field, improvements for the season. Installing, stud pads, new, home plates, reattaching the shade structure at Christmas Hill Park. Leveling some of the batters boxes and, lights, scoreboards, all those, accompanying, parts. We've scheduled the, light repair at, Gilroy Sports Park. There's quite a few that are out. So we've got those coming in. They're enough to where they're not impacting play, but it's time to have them come out. We've got all the irrigation programs back on, so we're busy working on the bugs as they've been turned off for a little bit, so we're encountering leaks here and blown pipes here, controller issues. So we're busy working on a lot of that stuff. Los Animas Park got the horseshoe pits at Lakeside refurbished. We're looking into improvements at the dog park. Hopefully, trying to see if we can add some new surface material. I would like to do some trees and repair the irrigation and a few, other improvements
See what's on this?
at Los Animas. Still kind of in the planning to see where we're at, getting into the budget here at the end. Fiber mulch has been, approved for 7 of the parks. That will start, May 8th through the 13th. We're just waiting on finalizing the signatures so we can start the Mulberry restroom repair. Had a little bit vandalism at Christmas Hill Park. The amphitheater restrooms were damaged pretty bad, the doors and the locks had to be replaced. The maintenance shop was broken into and they cut one of the panelings out and access and installed a couple of things, but we got that repaired. Vandalism,
Cameras running?
there are some, but we don't really have enough to have them at all the sites. But again, graffiti, Christmas Hill, Sports Park, San Isidro. San Isidro was vandalized, broke a window at the rec center there. So yeah, that keeps us busy. I'm working with Vince from Rec, trying to see if we can coordinate a volunteer effort to hopefully spread mulch at Delray Park throughout the beds. So I've been working on that. Playground repairs, Rainbow Park, we're hoping to repair the big scoop and do the surface repairs by the end of this week. Working towards this Los Arroyos surface repair and Delray and Los Arroyos trail swings were replaced. And then we removed the dead trees from Rainbow Park, the ones in the street strip.
Oh, thank you.
That was another one.
In total, there's about 6 that are missing. I'm in talks with Greg to see, now that we've planted the oaks at the mission, at the Gilroy Memorial.
Yeah.
See if there's any more trees available that possibly we can work on getting some replacements for that park.
That's great.
And we're working also this month, preparing the downtown vertical banner hardware. Next month, starting May 1st, we have 33 Veterans Memorial hanging banners to install this year. They liked it so much last year that they doubled what they had last year. So we have a few to install.
Wow.
So it's
It looked really nice last year with the parade.
yeah, it should be really nice if this will take up the whole strip. Concrete fence slats for many of the surrounding areas that have broken ones. We're picking those up tomorrow. Guys are picking those up from Santa Rosa, so as soon as we get those here, we should be able to start installing those. It's been a bit of a process. We actually have our own color that had to be poured and precast, so.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we're working with Bryce, see if we can get the in preparations to install the accessible sensory panels at Pop-Up Park, which it's estimating to make it here middle of May. So hopefully we can get those quick. If we have another.
Is that the Donald Creator?
Yeah.
We're getting down to about 90 days to get that done.
Which one's that? That one's East Street.
Uh,
Right area.
Art Center.
Priscilla's, yeah, okay.
Then we haven't forgotten about the poop can at the dog park. We're still looking to get over there and move it. as far as we can from the, bench. Yeah, and looking still into, working the fence or, figuring the water system out. Yep. And that's, I know we've got a list, but that'll, it'll spill into probably at least next month. So you make a list, you kind of,
Yeah.
for the stuff you're not popping, you add things daily. Yeah.
How about, there's about less than 2.5 months left to the end of this year. So do we have any more money left to spend on the dog park area? Or park areas where the dog parks are? That are spend it on? Do we get to carry it over? I just want to make sure we can't carry it over. Let's do what we can do.
Have my one-on-one and budget reviews, coming up this month to, see where I'm at, see what we can, spend there.
Yeah,
Got
I
that.
figure like, well, if we just don't have a bit of money and don't get to carry it, then we'll lose it for. Well, I know, but I can't spend it on that. So.
Thank you for asking. That was my main topic.
Yeah, because it's just kind of like, I know the budget's quite going, you got carryovers or you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, John.
You're
So
welcome.
the next one is the bicycle and pedestrian encouragement education.
Just ask a couple of questions. Sure. So Michelle's effort, I think, in the using motorcycles in parks.
I wish I could say it is, but, we're still seeing a lot of, individuals on the motorbikes.
Even motorcycles or just like a scooter guy?
Oh, they're motorized.
They're motorized.
And,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you guys see them. We actually had asked them past week to leave the park in Los Angeles. They actually follow around, so they're not really showing us much, but it's an ongoing.
I did, like, I had a run on, and one of them followed me part of the way home. I didn't turn down my street, just a tap of the day. So,
Let's
and
see 'em.
it wasn't the
Wherever
part, but it was
it's
near
at.
high school, turn into the boost. And yeah, I would have should have called 911. So it's an issue, that's what I'm getting. And you're finding,
We've had a lot of trouble them, hitting the, playground areas, and they make a track after they run
Okay.
over and over. Carriage Hills, Los Animas, El Roble, Christmas Hill. Los Animas gets hit pretty hard in that grass. So, yeah, we did work with Rochelle to get some, public.
is these areas are like, what, like high school, or are they a little bit older than that even, or? Are these
High
guys-
school, middle school, I mean, some of the kids seem really young. Most of them aren't smart enough to wear helmets, at least, but.
Say those brains,
That are in park off of Gomey, and do these belong to the Papa Park? Is it safe to leave from there to this one?
Those ones those were, and I'm not sure where the Papa Park is, but the Papa Park initially was temporary, so the idea to not plant them and leave them in container why they're in the park. But those are part of the Papa Park. I know Bryce was saying last time that we're really towards design, to actually more permanent design for the park, and I'm not sure where we're at with where the trees are, whether they're gonna stay there or not.
What about those sensors? Structures that
He was talking about that, so they're waiting for them to be
Oh,
delivered.
okay.
Middle
That's
next
what you're
month,
talking
yeah.
about. Is that it? That it? Okay, all right, so now we'll go on item 12, bicycle and pedestrian encouragement and education.
And look who we have.
Yeah, well, I don't think subject matter is accurate, but I'm certainly an advocate, but
Yeah.
no,
Well, you're our advocate.
well, I've said it before, I mean, Gilroy doesn't have a BPAC, and there's really, I mean, I don't know where to,
Eugene, would you mind introducing yourself? Because we have some new.
I'm Eugene Gronowski, and I am the Gilroy appointee to the Valley Transit Authority's Bicycle and Ped Commission. I was involved with the Gilroy DPAC. I would call myself a bicycle advocate for transportation and recreation. I'm also a pedestrian advocate, but I spend time in bicycle, in the world of bicycles. Professionally, I retired from tech about 10 years ago, and now my full-time occupation is consultant to the bicycle industry. So I'll be at Sea Otter Classic tomorrow and all through the weekend, 7,000 cyclists, but I'm there on behalf of my consultant clients, which are, my clients are in Italy and the United States, principally. But anyway, I really believe in cycling as a transportation, including cycling safety for transportation and recreation. And in the United States, it's a very difficult thing. There's very few communities that were designed around pedestrians cycling. And I didn't recognize this when I became an advocate, but I certainly recognize the challenge. That how hard it is to take a community built around automobiles and make it a quote. It's that in the Silicon Valley Transit Authority and our BPAC, we all recognize and look in the mirror and say, we, the members, will ride in anything, night, day, rain. I've got a car that moves once a week, and I live on a 20% grade to get home. So it's like I'm a vegetarian diet, right? But I'm not saying it for any philosophical reasons or anything. It's I feel better. I feel better if I ride my bike a lot, and I also do it for recreation. And I've been a competitor cyclist for 50 years. So, but I recognize my role as trying to advocate cyclists within the confines community. And Gilroy is you can get around easily on a bicycle in Gilroy, but you don't ride down First Street. You don't take 152. Hopefully, the BTA project, the funds will actually go through on easily. It's very hard to get over that side of town. It's paved, unless you're wearing light burning jersey, and we don't reference that. People trying to get around with their jobs. So anyway, so I come here to talk about what we can do. With the BTA, I would say 99% of all the discussion has to do with things that are happening in communities north of us, starting in San Jose, north. We talked about Gilroy, Morgan Hill. There's a representative Morgan Hill there as well. We don't necessarily get the attention. There's a few things that maybe we could do more of. I think one example is grant opportunity. I haven't studied the grant opportunity application process. That's kind of not up here to do. Is that right? Sure. At any rate, so there's money available there to help create equitable transportation close to BTA, Caltrain's BART transit lines areas. Let's say you really needed a crosswalk built in a repaved section within a half mile of the Gilroy Transit Authority. You could probably get money for something like that. If a bike lane needed to be painted, you could probably get money for things like that. The grants run from $15,000 to $175,000. I just one of the things I have not followed up on, because Zach Hilton was hammering BTA on, is we were supposed to get our bike lockers, transit authority upgraded. Same thing with all the bus stops on Monterey. They haven't been, because I checked it. And it was a reminder to myself that I need to follow through. But there are some things that the BTA can really help us with.
Do you think There's a crosswalk that I think we need on Miller, as it goes into Christmas Hill Park. The levee, the levee crosses Miller and then goes to the levee.
Sure.
And I think somebody just had an accident there about a month or two ago. We got hit there. That's what it calls that.
The crap show.
Miller and Uvis Park Drive.
Yeah, yeah, right where you're going from Miller down to Uvis Park into Christmas Hill Park, right above Silver's Crossing.
Right near the creek.
Yeah, and it needs one of those, maybe just a light that flashes. Do you think that would qualify? It's a
I
safety
don't
issue.
think that would qualify for this grant,
Okay,
but that absolutely, we had a workshop on last week, and we probably spent half that workshop talking about putting in signal lights,
Pedestrian
on
crossings.
Foothill and El Camino. The question is it in the jurisdiction of the Silicon Valley Transit Authority? And if it is, yeah, that's the sort of thing we can probably get some help on.
You know what makes that so dangerous too, is you cross the creek and then you come up blind. So
Yeah.
you know, and then you hit the stop sign.
who do I
And
see
crossing the
about
levee,
that?
there's a lot of.
Well, I think I need to take no action on it.
Okay, that would be great, because that
Be good.
would be fun to do something about that.
Oh, see, now we're talking about good stuff. I mean,
Listen, for the sake of time, because it is
Okay.
it's past 8 o'clock, typically this commission meeting ends at 8 o'clock, so
okay,
we
well,
are
I wanna
almost,
say one
yes.
more thing.
yes.
That's good.
I don't know how much you're looking for attention for the commission and the Parks Department, but all the things you guys talk about are things people really want, for the pickleball court, or dog parks, or making a park safe. I would, any opportunity I get is the most underserved community here is the youth cyclists that are on the BMX track. And I monitor 11 illegal tracks in the city.
Well,
And I
they,
go talk to the kids constantly.
they've never got the funds together to even,
At one time, it was 100% funded, but the city would not provide for it.
well,
If I want to go to the history dinner, you're really getting to go.
no, I've been on this commission for 8 years.
Yeah, let's-
Pat, you know, what, let's not
But
digress.
those folks have to do their,
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But you know what, but I just want to focus on something really, really good. This bike to wherever month, big deal. I just today got the approval to use Gilroy Gardens
Okay.
for the
like
bike
we did
event.
last year.
Yes. Now, this bike event is the single biggest event in the entire county.
Mhm.
That's associated with bike to wherever days. And we got a lot of recognition last year. In fact, I'm still getting recognition for being the number one.
We were number one, that's right. Hopefully.
Well, we can do it again. So it's gonna be on, this is another thing Eugene does, he puts on this one event. But I think at some point, city parks department, same people that are doing the Energizer stations, think about making this a city event. Because it's that great. I mean, I get emails constantly, is the event on, is the event on, is the event on? And I announced it on Facebook just before I came here. Start the advertising this weekend on Patch, Silicon Valley Bike Coalition's all over it.
What day is it?
It's gonna be Friday the 17th. This is really great. It's a Friday.
May 17th?
Yeah. So, I will still take responsibility for the event. I'm gonna need 16 volunteers. I've got this thing so wired. People show up for an hour and a half to volunteer. I do 2 shifts. You know, 2 people doing sign up, 6 people strategically located in the park, sit there in their lawn chairs and watch all the bikers go by. It's the easiest gig there is, and you're in the park. But anyway, I just want to plant the seed. First of all, if any of you want to sign up for volunteer hours, that's great. And I'll send the volunteer, I'll get you all on this. I have all your email addresses, so get you all the volunteer form. But give it some thought long term, because I almost couldn't do it this year because I had to be out of town. In
That's the
Italy.
man you need to talk to about the program for, recognition.
I just remember one meeting you guys were saying, how do we get some recognition for what we do? You know what? We love that event.
Well, I mean, he's the one who has the creativity and put in the guide and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff, and then still he needs to know if he has.
Well, one thing I might need help on is I'm late getting to the city for, on the publicity calendar. So now we have an official time, official date. I'm waiting for SVBC to get us our Eventbrite login. It's free, but you have to register.
Yeah.
And, So the only thing might be a little help in getting the publicity side.
Yeah, I can let
How
her,
about Rochelle?
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's
Yeah.
Michelle. Do I need to contact?
yeah,
her
just
direct?
send her an email. She'll,
Should, because she sends it out there on Bolton City. And that a lot of people want that.
Rochelle and repairs to Murray. And I can contact, I'll swing by there tomorrow before I head out of town tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going on my bike and see, like the guy, right? Roll ride anywhere and not think about it.
Well, like, again, for your event for next year, get all that, so you should
Yeah.
plan
that'd
it,
be great.
plan it. I mean, we used to have the Great Garlic 5K, but that got to be not enough attendance and too much staff, and so, you know,
Yeah, well, running a,
if the riding of the bike is a big deal, then that's.
well, the
what we
beauty of
do.
the park is it's closed loop. Right? There's no cars. There's only one.
Yeah.
To mine. And you can do it as many times as you want, but it's contained.
Sure.
And it's populated
And it's
by
safe.
families from like 2 or 3 years old on their, what do you call it, push bikes?
Yeah.
All the way up to people in their 80s. And, you know, it's an easy event to put on.
I
Running-
can't help you volunteer this year because I'm surgery out, but, yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate your support and,
I have a quick question about that. So we're talking about bikes and we're, not using transportation. So when you go, and you're talking about Gilroy Gardens, right?
you know,
So how do you get to Gilroy Gardens?
well, that's a problem because the new free trail stops 3/10 of a mile short. I have advocated to open up or a request or somehow allow people to come through Eagle Ridge.
Yes, through that,
Through
yeah,
that gate, that would work.
sure
But
would.
I've never got anywhere on that, and half the participants, I think, well, a high percentage of participants come.
Well, then
Oh, they moved it already, they don't
they
need
need
to
to be your advocates.
Yeah, but then the issue is, to get to Eagle Ridge, you gotta go up these hills. You know, it's not for the faint of. Like,
I
I
think
would
it's-
encourage anybody here that can still ride a bike, this is a perfect thing. Mayor Marie, she comes in. I had to fix her bike the first year. She said, I haven't ridden this thing in 10 years.
Which goes back to the old conversation you just had, with Sunshine Bicycles going down. Who's going to be the new bike fixer up? Because when something goes wrong with my bike, where do I know?
By the way, I forgot, I ride bikes all the time, not professionally anymore, but I grew up as a bike
There's a
fan.
bike fixer.
There's an Epicenter cyclery in the outlets, in the old Stone store.
Okay, well, that was better.
Epicenter cyclery. And they are so good that when I get stumped on something, I go there.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, the only hassle is it's not as convenient as Sunshine, you gotta go to the outlets. Well, I don't know, maybe you guys go to the outlets, but that's,
Oh my
No,
God.
I don't have to.
yeah, not if you don't, but if you go there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the parking lot's empty. And the people there are great,
That's good to know.
and they just opened up this, no, I'm gonna do it up in the fall last year. They'd love to see it because people don't exist.
Where are they located in that alley?
Can we
You
keep
know what?
aside because we are kind of like losing daylight here, so if you don't mind,
Not at all.
so, because, Russell's kind of going.
Well, I've said my piece.
Yeah, but hang around.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dean,
I
appreciate it.
appreciate
You
it.
bet.
Um, so number 13, agenda items for
Thank you
next
very
meeting.
much. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll help. Anyway.
Thank you,
Okay.
appreciate it.
anyway, the agenda items for next meeting, anyone have any? This will be the May meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, John, if you have any, news for us on carryover for the trees, I mean, for the park, for the dog parks, that's found, maybe that would be of interest to us. I think, for Doc and myself. And for the June meeting, I had already told Adam that I'd like to put on the agenda for the, Miller Red Barn, group to come back and give us a little 15 talk. Because I figured the thing with Bryce kind of like waned at June, just for like a month while he's starting to score. I kind of had nothing to my madness there, so. Anyway, that's all I had. And, anyone else have any questions? Okay, now, next on, is number 14, commission park reports and comments. Okay, so the B, I'll go first. So, John, I was in Delray Park today and with my grandson, and I've got several pictures for you about, in the frontage on Calle Del Rey, where you walk into the park, a lot of sidewalk lifting that's all been identified, but it needs to be repainted, needs to be fixed. We've got some boards and stuff that are getting all raggedy or around the trees. So like I said, I have pictures for you. And then on the Sydney Casper Park, I walked through the park, and on the bocce courts that are those, as you have the wood that's across the middle, I noticed the wood planking that is east to west. It's east to west. Anyway, it's the long ones. They're not hooked on it. So apparently the nail or the screw has failed or rotted. So, yeah, I walked them, so I went, oh, it's moving. So then I went to the four of them, and, they're moving. So there's that. Of course, the hopscotch, is still, the paint comes off. I don't know if there's anything we can do on that part to help with the hopscotch. And, for far as the other part of that. Those lawyers. Anyway, so yeah, the new screens that you mentioned. Yeah. So that's about all I have for this one. So the next one.
Yeah, so, Christmas Hill Park is immaculate on both sides. It's just stunning. There were so many people barbecuing out there today, walking around, walking the dogs. It's for a weekday. It was just beautiful. What's the little one that I do behind Mount Madonna? Is that little Rainbow Park? That one's always good. It's just a cute little park. Always made. All the parks, John, are maintained so well. I mean, and then that little silly little patch of grass, off of Farrell right there, past the, you probably don't know, it's off of Ren, it's Ren, and then the public health department.
The little
had that
horseshoe.
big- Yeah. The egrets, like, okay, that's, but let's be on that long, it's easier.
That's all right.
And, and then what's my last part? So I've got, Robley, I just did a spot through, but overall, rain made the grass grow, grass got mowed, trees are beautiful, and the parks are beautiful. So, the complex looked okay too. I can't even think of the name of it. Sports park, yeah. There's hardly anybody there. I mean, they just kind of hang out. Well, a lot of people park. Well, but I go all different days of the week purposely. There's a lot of hang around. So there's like, a couple of pickup trucks and, people in there. There's, one's got a camper type of thing. And I just kind of drive through slowly and
Go back and forth to the creek camps. Yeah.
Okay,
okay, thank you.
all right.
I visited the 3 parks, nothing to report.
And please.
I sent you pictures of some graffiti I saw, and so you'll have the pictures.
Yeah, a lot of what I've had to talk about has been covered, mostly by John, but I did, concerning the dog park, we decided we're not moving that fence, we're doing something to move the water inside the park, right? I mean, you so we're clear on that?
I thought we were thinking to move the fence. And
I actually showed the picture that you shared with me with Matt, the deputy director. And he explained to me that because of the environmental effects in this area, the better option would be to move the fence.
So then the people that use it that don't go in the park are screwed.
if we do, we can, there's options where we can possibly change the fountain itself so that it serves both sides of the
Both
fence.
sides.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Whatever works, just as long as, right
You don't have
now,
one of those that goes to both ways.
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be really, that'd be.
Yeah.
wonderful.
There's
Split.
also, we haven't touched on it, but moving potable water into the park where it comes in contact with the reclaimed water that's irrigated the lawns. It is a big no-no, so
Great.
the farther you can put the potable water, the better, where it doesn't get wet from reclaimed. You have to really protect the cross contaminate.
I get that.
I have a quick question about the dog park. I mean, and I get it, I have done stuff. Now, how many people attend the dog park a day, a week? Do we even know?
A lot,
Like 10 is a lot, or 5 is a lot, or 15? Cause I can't see 15
30 to
dogs
50 is a
at
lot.
one time in that little park there.
You know what, let's just stick to, it's
I
just,
mean, it's-
no, I know, but it's not pertinent,
Okay.
and again, it's
Okay.
past 8, so let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let me finish.
Okay. Just-
And the other thing about the park is there's, as the population gets bigger because of the weather, there's nowhere to sit. That other part is the benches, so that's the consideration. Everything else in my parks look wonderful, John, you're doing great. And, yeah, this little rain helped everything, and everything's freshly mowed, it looks wonderful, it's great.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a weekend with no rain.
Okay.
Please.
All right, so, that's all, or
That's it for me.
staff comments? I didn't put them-
Just, just a reminder, if anyone has any questions about this, pickleball scoring thing, feel free to reach out to me and I'll connect you with Bryce.
Adam first. then we'll
Yeah.
Send your request. Okay, and, then I say adjournment, 8:17. Boom, out of here.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Let's see, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, the webinar in the Carpenetti room.